In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how one of my clients, Justin, scaled his online fitness coaching business from $0 in September when he found us to now, February, a few months later, to $100,000 cash collected in the month of February, only a 28-day month. I want to be extremely forward and clear with you guys. This is a live video breakdown of me and him going over month to month what he did, what he spent on ads, and how much cash collected he did each month, what the different hires were, the price of the offer, and really just getting in the weeds on exactly what we did when we did it to get him where he's at today. I want to be extremely forward with you, though. This is not by any means a guarantee. Business is always a risk, and there is more competition than there ever has been before in the online space. Really, the trust in the online space has went down a lot too. So this is why it's so important to do things the right way, because it is so risky, right? So I'm going to show you in this video exactly what we did. And if you stay until the very end, you'll be able to have a ton of stuff to apply to your own online coaching business. Again, Justin's a fitness coach. This isn't a B2B offer or a make money offer. This is a true fitness coaching offer that we scaled to $100,000 cash collected per month. And it's on pace to keep growing. So this is going to be a super valuable video if you feel called to do similar stuff. Let's dive in. All right, so if you're watching this video, you're probably an online coach who has an idea of what you want to coach on. Maybe you've already got a couple clients. You're probably somewhere between 0 and 30K per month in your coaching business. And maybe you have a big dream of getting, to the other side of, maybe it's 50K a month, maybe it's 15K a month, maybe it's 100K per month. Some of you guys, maybe you're like really big dreamers. You're like, dude, I want to get to like 400K a month, right? If so, I want to break down just some of the steps that we took with Justin. And then literally I'm going to bring him on and we're going to just step by step, month by month, go over what he did each and every month. But first things first, right? You're watching this video and you're between 0 and 10K per month, right? The first phase is really product market fit. There's a few things that you have to have in order. Number one, you have to have your offer, right? Ideally, if we're going to build a 100K a month business, you need to increase your prices from probably where they're at right now, 2K, 3K, to building a 4 to 10K offer. That's just your core offer, right? At first, you just need one offer, okay? Then the next thing we need to do is build out a marketing strategy, right, that brings clients to you in a consistent way. And the way we do this is simple, Instagram ads usually to start, right? So we're going to start with the IG growth funnel, right? Maybe you're a little more advanced and we layer in, the school funnel, right? Or even the YouTube funnel, right? But nonetheless, what we need to do is get booked calls for anywhere between $100, right, depending on your niche, to $400, right? If you can get booked calls in that zone, and the next thing is true, which means you have a great sales process, which is what we help our clients build, meaning setting, right, VSL, closing, then you should have a positive return on ad spend, right? And then you start to build out the team at different levels, right? So at 0 to 10K a month, basically, what it's going to look like is you probably spent 1 to 2K on ads. And the cool thing about ads is you don't have to spend like $2,000 up front, right? We actually start with like 30 to 40 bucks a day and then scale the ads after you get your first couple sales. And you'll see in the video exactly what Justin spent each and every month and how he did it. So we're going to start off with some ads. You're going to probably do your own setting, right? You're going to do your own sales calls and you're going to do all of your own coaching, right? At a 10K a month coaching business. Like you really don't need any help. However, some people, if you're anything like me, are like, dude, I just can't stay focused long enough to do my own setting. You could technically hire your own setter. And that's what we did with Justin. So basically, we hired a setter and then he was doing his own sales calls and coaching, right? and you're probably going to spend 1 to 2K a month on ads. And you're like, Brandon, what ads? Well, funnels are pretty simple. What we did with Justin, since he's in the fitness niche, is we just created one ad, right, that ran to get him more Instagram followers. And you'll see in our brief interview that he's getting almost 450 new Instagram followers per day from these ads, right? And then as we scaled, we literally just launched more and more, added in some retargeting. But at first, usually it's one simple ad that's going to get you Instagram followers for you to message every single day, then for you to have them book in a call. And then before your call, they're going to watch your program breakdown video, which is your VSL. Then you're going to take the actual call and you should close 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4. And that's how the math works. So if it costs you 200 bucks, right, to get a call and it takes you 1 out of 4 to close, basically you spent $800 to acquire a client. Now, there's a lot of ways to get this down. Get the book call percentage down. Get the cost per book call down and get your closing percentage up. That could take you from 800 to 400, right? So, a lot of different ways we can go about that. But that's basically what a 10K a month coaching business looks like. At the beginning is you getting really clear on who you help, how you help them. And one of the biggest things I see with almost every person who joins our program is we help them find their niche, right? So part of the reason Justin's business is doing so well is because of his niche, right? And we'll talk more about that, right? And then you've got the 10 to 30K a month stage, okay? This is where people are starting to spend more on ads, probably, anywhere from 3 to 6K a month on ads, right? You've got a setter. Maybe you bring on an assistant coach towards the end of that month and you're doing a lot of sales, right? And then this is where you start to get excited. You're like, oh my gosh, I've never made this much money before. How do I go really to the next level? And then you've got this 30 to 100K a month bracket, right? And in here, really all we're doing is spending more on ads. So anywhere from 6 to 12K. Uh, some people might have to spend more, for 100K a month. Let's say 20K. You've got a setter, right? You've got a coach, and then you bring on a closer, right? And then what you do with your time, because you basically bought back your time, is you reinvest that time into marketing, right? Into content and marketing. Okay. So that's basically the approach. And you're going to see with Justin that we actually stayed stuck in the first two quadrants for 3 months. And then the last 2 months when we implemented this stuff really blew up. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring Justin on and I'm going to ask him what his first month of business looked like when he first joined the program. September, right? Like at complete zero. What did you do in September? Do you remember?
Yeah, September was like just under 10K. Because I was, doing, a couple of card stuff that wasn't through Stripe. I was using Square, and then I had a couple of PayPals. So it was just under 10.
Sweet. And then that was literally what? Just like follower ads mostly?
Yeah, everything's been follower ads, all of it.
Yeah. Okay. So follower ads. And then, so after September, October, what did you do that month?
I think that was like right under 20.
Right under 20K. And then what like shifted then? Like, I'm guessing you just got a setter, right?
Yeah, I hired a setter right away. And him and I were kind of working together because I knew that was going to be necessary. So like I didn't wait. I just got one.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a young guy and he'd only been doing it for like a month or two. So I was like, sweet dude, like we'll learn together. I said, you follow me. I said, I'm going to do 50K by January. I said, let's give it a shot.
Yeah, 100%. And do you remember how much you were spending on ads back then?
We can go back and look. So September was 2 grand.
Oh, 2K.
Yeah, 2K.
Cool. And then we just maintained the follower ads. And then October, right under 20K, still at the setter. What did you spend October?
October we spent 3,100.
3,100.
And October was, oh, actually I did 21 in October. So, and then November was the same, 20. Um, And
Cash
November
collected.
was, yeah, yeah, cash collected. I mean, I'm not even going to count contracted because half those cards don't even process after the first. So I spent 4,300 in November, and there might have been a little bit more in November through PayPal. I can go back and look, but it might have been like 25.
All right. And then December.
December we spent 6,300.
And then what'd you do?
This up so I give you an accurate number for December. Hold on one sec. December was, yeah, so December was actually pretty low. I mean, I contracted 35, but I only collected 16.
And then spent how much on ads?
December we spent 6,300.
And then
January was,
that's when roughly like we started the partnership, right?
yeah, I think it was
And
like
Tristan came in.
December, yeah, like after that first week of December or something.
All right. And then January, what
And then
happened there?
January we spent 8,100,
And then how much cash collected?
and then we collected 55. And that's when we had this, that's when I had my closer start. Well, closers. I had a couple closers. So that really
Mm,
freed me up. Content, helped drive the setters, right? That's when I brought on, I think December, I brought on my second setter. And so now I could really help these guys have the right kinds of conversations. Because I was spending so much time like trying to figure out how to, do the sales process, studying. That freed me up to do the content, drive the setters.
yeah, reinvest like in the stuff that moves the needle. And then, yeah, how much did Tristan help? Like having him help with the sales team.
I mean, we part of it was we found, in my opinion, a diamond in the rough in my closer,
He's a beast, right?
Animal.
I love it.
Obviously, it was
Okay.
super helpful. Because him and I were chatting every day, and I've got a bit of a corporate sales background, traditional entrepreneur, so this high ticket coaching philosophy was just running my head. So yeah, we found this dude, and he's slaying it. And the
Hmm.
best part is he's only closing at like 35% right now. But there's 7 calls, 8 calls scheduled every day. Half of them show up. And so, he's closing a deal a day.
Yeah, that's great. Um, and then February, you're at 92K right now, cash collected.
Yeah, 91.7.
Most likely, like on this pace, I'll finish out at 100K. How much did you spend on ads this month?
This month is 11.2 so far. I'm averaging about 430 per day. So we've got what today and tomorrow left. It's another 800, so 12K in ad spend.
What did you focus on mostly this month?
Driving the setters, driving the closer, just operations, man. Operations, operations, operations.
All right, so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to list off some of the bottlenecks that people face along the way, and there's really four quadrants to this. Um, and I'll go ahead and add the fifth quadrant, which is mindset, but we're going to hit that one at the very end. So at first, right, you've got these problems with your offer. Okay, right? You don't know who to target, so you're just probably working with everyone, right? Or you're working with people that have money, don't have money, and people get on the call with you, and they're like, "Dude, I want to do this, but 2,000 is a lot of money for me, or 5,000, or 10,000." So you're not attracting people that are in a buying mindset, or people that have money, and you probably don't have any mechanisms that make your marketing sexy, and maybe your delivery you're not fully confident in, and maybe you still don't have a course or even a framework or proven process, but um, you know that you're good at what you do, right? I'll just summarize it with this. Your offer isn't sexy enough, right? People have to be marketed to super hard to want to buy your thing. Okay. And the next thing I see people struggling with in regards to that is their marketing because they're not clear on their offer, right? And the offer isn't good enough per se. Now they have to market, super hard. And maybe you're stuck in like the organic flywheel where you're just posting organic content. Maybe you're not consistent, right? Maybe you don't know what your messaging is, right? Which is more of a offer problem that we take the offer messaging and then apply it to marketing. Maybe you just don't know how to run ads, right? Maybe it's scary to you and you're like, dude, Brandon, I want to, scale my coaching business, but like literally, I just need more leads, right? And that's where I see people at all the time. And, then I see people in this area where, there's one of two things. Either one, you're good at marketing, right? And your marketing is good, but you suck at sales, right? You've got low show rates, right? You've got low closing rates, right? You can't onboard a closer because you don't actually have a sales process or your setter isn't performing a KPI. Or two, is A, you don't have anyone to sell to, but you're actually pretty good at sales, right? And it's annoying because you're like, dude, I know how to close. I used to be a closer or whatever, right? But you don't have anyone to sell to. And then the last one is something that really took me the most time to figure out, is you don't know how to build a team, right? You don't know who to hire, right? You don't know where to find them, right? You don't know how to build a process. You don't know how to even pay them, much less how to train them. Uh, and every time you've tried to hire somebody, they just weren't, any good, right? And this is again like the four pieces I see a lot of people in, and mindset wise, a couple thoughts that hold people back, like thinking thoughts like I'm not good enough, right? The last program I joined, I got burned. All these different thoughts that swing around our heads, and we're like, dude, like I'm not worthy of building a business of 100K a month. That's just for Justin. And the reality is, all of it's not true. So what we've done is we actually put together a system that counteracts all of this stuff. And I'm just going to kind of show you exactly what we do and how it works. So in our program, basically what we teach our students is how to target their who, right? How to have a clear defined niche. That's ultimately what set Justin apart. Then we helped him make a mechanism, right? What is the thing he teaches that makes him different from every other fitness coach, right? And then what's his proven process, right? What is the framework he's going to take people through A to B to make sure they get results and get to B every single time as long as they do the work, right? And maybe even a guarantee. Okay, so that is how we fix the offer framework. We literally have a framework that we help people do this on their onboarding call. So the first step after people join our program is like, boom, they've got a good offer, right? And what's super cool about that is that leads right over into the next step, which is where we have our market message, right? And this literally comes from our offer. Okay. And then what we do is literally we script an ad and then we run that ad on Instagram and immediately start getting followers. Okay. And maybe you're like, yo, Brandon, I'm already past that. Well, I can almost guarantee you that, your retargeting isn't producing like it could be, or your return on ad spend isn't where it could be, or maybe you're already doing like 50 to 100. Like maybe you just need a new funnel, like a school funnel, YouTube funnel, something like that, scaling your ads even further, right? And a lot of people know how to run ads, but they don't know how to scale ads. And we literally cover all of that, right, as well. So, boom, now that marketing is solved, and now you're getting the right people on a call, right? Then we have to plug in an actual sales process. So my sales manager has put together like really incredible sales training where it shows you how to build your own sales process, A to B, show you how to hire a closer, and then we show you how to get your closing rate to 30 to 40%, right? Now that you've got the right person on the call with because you're targeting the right offer, your marketing is dialed in. You're starting to build out your sales team, setters, and closers, right? Now we're going to show you exactly how to buy back your time. And this is where a lot of people forget and get stuck and get burned out, but you can actually buy back your time, right? By hiring a team, setter, coach, closer, admin, right? Assistant, rather. Okay. So that is what we're going to do, literally step by step, A to B throughout our program. And this is how we help students every single day. And I've got a ton of free content on YouTube where you could literally piece this stuff together. At Funnel Hacking Live, I had like 3 or 4 people out of the 50 that recognized me come up to me and was like, dude, I scaled to X, Y, and Z just by watching your YouTube channel. But some of you guys are like, dude, Brandon, I've got money. I freaking don't have time to waste trying to figure this stuff out on my own. I'm ready to draw a line in the sand and literally make a change. If you thought that this was valuable and you could see exactly how this could apply to your own business, and you're like, dude, Brandon, I just need help. I don't know what to do. I feel like Justin felt I need a mentor. I need somebody to just guide me along the way. We're really picky on who we work with, and we don't partner with everybody. But if you are interested and you just feel something stirring, like, dude, I need to get on a chat with these guys, what I want you to do is click the link down below and book in a time to chat. On that call, super simple call, what we're going to do is just get a sense of where you're at currently, like we did with Justin, where you want to get to, and then basically break down all of the things that we need to do to tweak your offer, your messaging, your niche, your pricing, your ads, your organic content to get you where you want to go. And if we think we can actually help, what we'll do is show you what it looks like to work with us. And again, if you're not a good fit, we'll literally send you on your way with a scaling roadmap. So again, what I want you to do is click the link down below, and we'll see you there.